Hello everyone, today the new trailer for Pokemon Winds and Waves just dropped alongside the Pokemon Presents, and with this new trailer there is a lot to dissect about the new game coming in 2027, so let's get into it. The opening sequence shows off these two quote-unquote tanned Pikachu, where even on the website they've now updated that these are special looking Pikachu, which might refer to them being shiny. Now, they have even been giving names. Mr. Windy Chew and Miss Wavy Chew, not only indicating that they would be version exclusives potentially, but also that they have involvement in the plot. Now, the opening scene gives us a nice view of coral reef textures, but also shows us that the land masses look quite similar to how they did in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So you could say they're sort of building off of the art style of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But looking at the sky and the sea, you can clearly see that there's been work put into it. And while the clear surplus of water might elicit a 7.8 from IGN, I believe that this return to adding a lot of water to the game could be amazing for the game, finally showing us some exciting new mechanics. Additionally, one thing to note is that Pokemon have broken their one mainline game per 3 years pattern, as this game will release 5 years after Scarlet and Violet, showing they're finally putting in the time and effort needed to produce a polished and well-made game. And after Scarlet and Violet's amazing story, now we're hoping they can finally back that up with a technologically sound, smooth running, and amazing looking game. And here in the trailer we can not only see what seems to be a tiny coastal settlement, but also a giant, amazing looking water slide coming out from what looks to be a Pokemon gym. Now this ambitious design is making me even more hyped for this game, as I truly think they have gone very creative in the design for this game. And I think it's an interesting decision that they've made the player characters sort of seem like a mix of those from New Pokemon Snap and Scarlet and Violet. So clearly they are trying to go with the kind of kid-friendly look. And the outfit does worry me a little bit about customization, which, if it's not good, would be very disappointing coming right after Pokemon Legends ZA. But looking at these routes, I'm thinking the gameplay could very well make up for that. I mean, look at this. This actually looks quite detailed, and it reminds me of those concept videos of Pokemon games and what people said Pokemon games should be looking like. I think Pokemon has almost or even surpassed that level now. Yet again, here you can see they've tampered with the tried and true Pokemart Poké Center, and I like to see that. They've kind of taken inspiration from the region's inspiration, which, if I recall, is Southeast Asia. That's what the leaks prior to this video came to say anyway, but looking at this video, a lot of leaks have been confirmed. And I think this shot deserves to be admired here. I mean, watch the trailer yourself, and when you see this water move, I think it's definitely going to make you super excited for this game, because finally water looks smooth, and I'm really hoping this runs well. But I do think it's going to be on Nintendo Switch too, so that they can keep the performance up, so that might be a downside for a lot of Switch users. Here we have that little settlement I was talking about. Now we see it a bit up close, and it does look a little bit like Pacific Log Town. It also looks quite small, to be honest, and all the buildings do look the same, but I can't judge it by this little area. I don't know if this is important or just some random settlement. And still, the water textures and physics are looking mind-blowing. The lighting too deserves some praise. I mean, this is really looking like the sort of style I have been waiting to see in Pokemon games, with a mix of realistic but also keeping that fantasy element and that escape into the Pokemon world. This magmatic cave might be one of the only environments I didn't really enjoy looking at in this trailer. I mean, it does just look a bit sloppy, to be honest. But on the plus side, it's good to see Sizzlepede make a return. Here we see what seems to be a mangrove swamp, and I'm really liking the real focus on these natural habitats, because this is really giving a strong feeling of really observing Pokemon in the wild as they're meant to be. And it doesn't make you feel like, the Pokemon are the only thing to admire here. It's the Pokemon in their habitat that's something to admire. And that's something I really appreciated from new Pokemon Snap. So I really hope that Pokemon Winds and Waves can integrate this into the mainline games, and I really think it'll do a good job. And here we have the Requiem Pokemon hanging outside this building with this Slowking poster. So either this is a little side quest competition, maybe this is where we live, some sort of hotel, or it could be something else entirely. Who knows? It looks cool. Here's a building that looks quite similar to the initial suspected gym in the video, but it's got lights, it's sort of like Iono's gym, and it's got this golden thing on top, again with the slide. So maybe the slide is a common theme, like when you win, or maybe if you lose, you have to go down that slide, climb up again, and challenge the gym leader. So does that mean you're doing the gym challenge all over again as well? Oh, and here we have the 3 new starters. We have Brout, another grass type bird, which looks pretty cool. So another grass type bird in another tropical setting. It's quite an interesting choice, but it does look quite nice. Definitely a brave design choice that really paid off here. And here we've got the Pomeranian looking starter that I would call the mass appeal starter. Just seems quite lukewarm. Obviously it looks great, but it doesn't really tend to any sort of strong personal preferences. It's just solid in every aspect. Pombon, another strong choice. And here we have Sobble's tropical cousin, Gekwa. Now, I don't know if they're going to do another Sobble, make something like Inteleon, which appeals to a niche, or, well, in that case, it was much more popular in Japan than it was globally, which I think is a fair decision, because Pokemon originated in Japan, so that's completely fair to base your design like that. But let's just hope that Gekwa doesn't become bipedal, although, it probably will. And now here's an interesting shot, because if you can see this dragon-shaped cloud, I think this, along with a lot of other people making speculation, that this is a hint to the legendary of this game, which I'm actually surprised they haven't teased yet. If I remember past years correctly, they normally tease it with the first trailer, but I'm not sure. I think one of or both of the legendaries is going to be dragons. But this shot gives us the most hope of all. It gives us hope that we can finally do scuba diving again. And scuba diving in an open world like this would just be an unbelievable experience. Especially with the Pokemon swimming around like that. That will be a dream come true and will really solidify this game. I'm getting the game anyway, whether it's a 7.8 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. But a feature like this could change the mind of the ever-increasing number of stalwarts that just don't believe in new Pokemon games anymore. If they can really integrate this well, I think Pokemon is back on track to dominate. Only thing I'm not happy about is Wailord's scaling. Just after Sword and Shield, they just don't care about it being the biggest anymore. They were just like, okay, we've got Eternatus now, we don't care about you, Wailord. But don't worry, Wailord, I remember. You helped me get the Reggies. One last quick note. After going to the website again, I am quite sad to say that it is quite likely that our only customization options are going to be cycling through these uniforms, as they are version exclusive just like they were in Scarlet and Violet, which leads me to believe, they're not going to let us do something crazy. But with all the exciting things promised by this trailer, or at least alluded to, I think we don't even need to worry about that. This game is going to be great. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you're as excited for Pokemon Winds and Waves as I am. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.